Hello, welcome to another McCullough screencast. Today we're going to talk a little bit about rotational symmetry. Our goal when we're done with this lesson is that we should be able to identify and build designs with rotational symmetry. So, to start, let's go ahead and take a look at this shape right here on our page. Why don't you take out your notebook that you were asked to bring home tonight. I want you to write down a couple things you notice about this shape right here that you see on the board. So I want you to pause the video now for just a second, and I would like you to make some observations or write down some observations about what you see on this shape. It could be anything from the pattern blocks to what it looks like, lines of symmetry, so on and so forth. So go ahead and pause the video now, and then when you come back and you push play, we'll do the rest of this screencast. Alright, welcome back. So now that you've taken a look at this shape here, what we're going to do is I am going to move this shape. I'm going to take the pieces off of this shape real quick so that you can see the parts of this shape that we have here. As you can see, it's all locked together. So as I slide these pieces off, you notice that, well, what do you notice? You notice there's a frame underneath there. This is called the frame, and it's the frame of the shape we just made. When figuring out rotational symmetry, it's important for us to know that there's a frame. You could either trace the shape to see its frame, or you could imagine where that frame might be. My suggestion, until we get a little bit better at it, is to actually trace the frame of the shape that you're making. Okay, so this outline of our shape that we had is called a frame. That's important for us to know. Alright, now that you know that that's a frame, I'm going to go ahead and move the pattern blocks back onto the frame. And tomorrow when you do this in class, you are going to be, basically, you're going to be taping these pieces together. You're going to take a piece of Scotch tape and tape your pieces together. For today, I'm just going to group these objects so that they can spin on our paper here. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the shape and talk about what rotational symmetry is. Now we know there's a shape behind here. That's the frame. And to figure out rotational symmetry, what we need to do is we need to move this shape that we have, we need to move it around in a circle, in a circular motion, all the way around, and see how many times the shape fits into its original frame. So we want to see how many times this shape is going to fit inside of that frame right there. So to start, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the corner of the shape real quick with a pen, so that we know where the beginning is, where we started. Alright, so I have a little white dot there to know. When that white dot gets back to here, that means we need to stop. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to lock these together real quick. And let's move the shape around our circle and see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to grab it to start, and I'm going to start to rotate this shape. Very nice. And as soon as that shape stops inside of its frame, or gets stuck in its frame, we know that we need to stop. So I'm rotating this around, and it looks like it might fit right here. I'm just going to test it and move it back into that frame so it does. That's our first stop. We stopped one time. Let's continue to move this shape around. So we've stopped once so far. Let's keep track. Let's move it again. And there is 2. It looks like it'll stop a second time in that frame. It's the second time we had to stop. Let's move it again. There's the third time. I'm going to stop right there. Put it back. There's 3 times it stopped. And let's rotate it one more time until we get back to our original starting point. And right about there. So we can see that this shape stops 4 times inside of its frame as we rotate around our shape. Okay, that would be called order of 4. It has rotational symmetry, order of 4. If it stopped 3 times, it would be order of 3. If it stopped 2 times, it would be order of 2. If it stops 1 time, you go all the way around 1 time, and it comes back to its original point, it would be order of 1. Means it only fits inside of itself 1 time. So that is a little bit about rotational symmetry. Tomorrow we'll be working a little bit more with rotational symmetry. You'll be doing some sheets in class. So hopefully you have a good understanding of how rotational symmetry works, how we find rotational symmetry of shapes, and we'll get to work tomorrow. If you're a little bit unsure still, we'll have time in class to work it out. All right, until the next time.